People are pumped to be inside this gym here in Natomas. The Nighthawks coming in at 25-9, 25 wins, the most in a season from a Natomas team since 2007. And they're doing it with a first-year coach, Brian McKenzie, and a lot of freshmen playing big minutes. This week on Premier Preps, we have the head varsity coach of the Natomas High School boys basketball team, a team that won the Greater Sacramento League Championship, the first outright league title in 10 years at Natomas. The Nighthawks reached the Sac Joaquin Section Championship game. They reached the NorCal Final Four this year. Lots of great things happening at Natomas this year. He was named the Sacramento Bees All-Metro Coach of the Year for basketball, and he did all of that in just his first season with the Nighthawks. So I am pleased to be joined by Brian McKenzie. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on Premier Preps this week.
Thanks for having me. I love it. Love the intro. I love what you do.
Well, obviously, first off, congratulations on a great season this year at Natomas. You guys were one of the surprise teams and a treat to watch on the basketball court. I've seen you guys multiple times. You guys really did your thing out there. We will definitely get into all of that in a second. But first, I want to ask you, about where you grew up. You're from Brooklyn, right?
100%. Yeah. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I went to high school where one of the legends of the game that I love to play went, Chris Mullen. So yeah, out there in Bay Ridge, I grew up in the Flatbush area. And it was, as much as everybody thinks it is, Brooklyn is exactly that. It's tough nosed. A lot of guys that we went up against in terms of the game itself. Learned a lot there, and just proud to say 100% Brooklyn, New York.
And there's obviously a Big East connection between you guys. Chris Mullen went to St. John's, and then you played at Providence. Probably back in the glory days of the Big East. I've seen the tape. You had some bounce.
Yeah, a little bit.
You still get up like that?
Not like that. Not like that. I can still dunk. But not like back in the day. I will honestly toot my own horn and say that I didn't realize how athletic I was until I look back. And obviously it's the old saying of if you don't use it, you lose it. But age is undefeated. Time is undefeated. So I embrace where I am, and I just try to stay in shape. So I'm happy whenever I do get up there to be able to just throw one down every once in a while.
I want to ask you too about what your recruiting experience was like getting into Providence, and like how do you relay that type of information onto your players now who want to play at the next level?
The first thing, the most important thing that I tell every student athlete is grades. The truth of the matter is, the more you respect and value what you do in the classroom, is the more opportunity it will open for you in whatever sport you want to pursue. So that conversation never changes for me.
When you took the Natomas job, and obviously you knew you had a lot of youth on the roster, got a lot of guys whose first sport might not be basketball necessarily, but you had a lot of talent. What were your expectations coming into this season?
My expectations were to build, was to develop, to create what I like to call hoopers, guys who are like invested in the game and want to just play, just to be a part of the game, whatever it was. We cultivated that culture early, and obviously still building that, but that was the main focus for me, was to build. So that groundwork and all of the after effect of being in the playoffs, or having a player of the year candidate, having first team all Metro guys, came from that dedication and that want to be better in May.
When I talked to you for the first time this year, you referred to this team as a sleeping giant. And if people haven't watched Natomas basketball, you're missing out, because they have an emerging star in a kid named Mano Jenkins. Just a sophomore this year, but he was all Metro first team, like you mentioned earlier. Just a walking bucket, has unlimited range, not afraid of any big moment. What do you see, as this kid's potential, and like what his ceiling is? Like what's in his future?
Honestly, a Division I athlete. His ability to do what he does on the court does say college basketball. All right. Especially the way the game is evolving. Shooting is at a premium. That's first and foremost. But to be as clutch as he is, to be as fearless as he is, and obviously as a growing guard, his IQ is extremely high. He can pass the ball, he handles it well, and he's a defender. He defends, so he plays both sides. He led us this year in charges as well, and block shots. So when you put that together as a sophomore, the sky is the limit, to be honest, especially if you're still hungry and willing to work.
It'll be really fun to see how his game evolves over the next couple of years and what he grows into for sure. His older brother Darion was your point guard this year, and their dad was an assistant on your bench this year. Talk about some of the other pieces on your team that really led to what took you guys where you went this year.
I'll start with the coaching. I met with Mano's dad, D'Angelo, and David Lowry, who were the JV coaches from last year. Met with them early in May, and I said, I would like to have you guys be assistants of varsity. What's your vision for varsity? D'Angelo, without a doubt, said to win a section. And I looked at him and I was like, he might be as crazy as I am. So I said, I love it. So I'll start there. It was the coaching. And in any good organization, the leadership pieces, that component is important, very important. From there, the pieces that just kept falling into place with the freshmen that just came in at such a high skill set, high IQ, but I was blessed with a great leader, like a kid that doesn't get enough accolades, Achilles, a kid like Chauncey, who is a senior who didn't play that much at all. Another senior who was a great two-way athlete in Darius, who bought into the understanding of what it took to win. From the coaching to the senior leadership buy-in to now the freshman buy-in, all came together with, great scheduling and then great effort to put together a nice 25-10 and a very solid run to state. So it was great.
But yeah, the results speak for themselves, with the record that you guys had, and yourself being named Sacramento Bee All Metro Coach of the Year. What was your reaction to that award, and what type of meaning does that have to you personally?
I was honestly a little shocked. It was humbling. Honestly, I have to say it was humbling, and it forced me to kind of really reflect at the fact that we played a lot of those games, a lot of this season with 4 underclassmen. As our first meet, where I said that we have a sleeping giant, I still stand on that. I really do. The goal is to be able to now double down. We're going to be on the road a lot this year as well. I already got 2 great games on the road scheduled with Rockland and Sac High. So just looking forward to that. And honestly, just happy to be a part of the Sacramento basketball community, the Sac Joaquin basketball community, and honestly, just looking to grow.
Well, if there are any area coaches watching, make sure you give Natomas a chance on your schedule next year, especially if you're one of the heavy hitters. I promise they will give you a game. I saw them firsthand of what they can do. They are not afraid of the big moments, no matter what size the school is, no matter how tough the opponent. Natomas is getting put back on the map, and a lot of it has to do with this guy right here, Brian McKenzie, the Sacramento Bee All Metro Coach of the Year at Natomas High School. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this week on Premier Preps. You are welcome back anytime. I look forward to seeing what you guys unravel in the future.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Definitely love what you guys do and look forward to it.